Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. It is our first episode of the new year. I'm excited to be back. We've taken some time off. I feel rest and recharged. How about you, Nate?
I do. But in full disclosure, we are recording this before the holiday break.
But we have taken like a 2-month break from recording just because we
Yes.
had so much going on with the Founders Forum and working with all those schools.
Well, and what I love is that when we do take a break from recording, we come back and energized with a whole bunch of new content. So love that.
And that is really a good lead into what we're planning on for today. Because I thought as we began the year, we would focus on trends that we're seeing either in our industry or trends that we're seeing in marketing specifically, because just if I learned anything from 2024, marketing is still a massive challenge for most schools, even schools that are already quite large. I've gotten a close look at a lot of schools over the last 9 years doing this job. But I've gotten an even deeper look as we've really dug in with all the schools that are working with us in the Founders Forum. Mm-hmm. And even with those schools, some of these schools, massive schools, huge schools, just revenue numbers each month that you wouldn't believe. There's still questions around marketing. And so I thought I would blend two ideas here in this episode today. What's going on in search marketing specifically, and how can that be helpful to both small studios and larger schools? And so I want to do an episode that is very tightly focused on not just the marketing bucket, not just ads, but specifically search marketing and how that is expressed through Google and other search engine marketing opportunities. So that's the plan today, Nate. We're going to start out with a very practical episode this year.
Yeah, I love it. And I love that you're leading it, Daniel, because I think, as we were prepping this, you were saying you really wanted to show our listeners how some of your thinking has changed over the years. And you've been in this world, very interested in it for like 7-8 years now, something like that.
I've been doing search marketing since 2012, but I've been helping schools since 2015.
Yeah, love it. So this is just going to be a great episode because, of course, you and I met originally where I reached out to you specifically for a strength area you have, which is like helping us with our marketing and sales funnel and consulting BMF when it was in a growth phase. So let's dive straight in. Where do you want to start, Daniel?
I want to start by defining terms. And I often make the mistake of assuming that school owners, and this isn't a slight, but that they're maybe more knowledgeable than they actually are. And again, this is not intended as a slight. It's not judgment. It's just that I've had my head buried in the marketing of music schools for so long that I think I overassume that people know all these nitty-gritty facts about every single marketing platform and things of that nature. So I just want to start by defining terms, even down to what is search marketing. Is that a good place?
That's a great place. We do not, as my business partner says, what makes an ass out of us are our assumptions.
Right. Yeah. Cool. So by search marketing, I mean, if someone goes and looks for voice lessons, piano lessons, violin lessons, drum lessons, they go probably to Google and they type in, violin lessons near me, piano lessons near me, something like that. And Google or Bing or Yahoo, if you are still using Yahoo, that's weird, but whatever, brings back a number of opportunities that are local to that searcher. Most likely a parent, or if it's an adult student looking for lessons, an adult student. That is search marketing. Now, it is best, or the thing that I have most recommended, is that schools use the Google Ads platform. I don't think this comes as a surprise to anyone. I want to briefly describe Google Ads. Google Ads is the way that you can buy your way to the top of the search engines. If you are just starting out, a a music business and you've just started your website, there is no way that Google will have ranked you highly enough that people will see you if you have a new website, if you've just started out. And bear with me, if you have an established school, bear with me, because I'm going to explain how this part of our conversation today applies to you. But you could buy your way to the top of the search engine just by using Google Ads. You could be day one and actually beat a 20-year established school just by buying and bidding your way to the top of the search engine with the Google Ads platform. And I won't get into all the reasons why that is possible. Just know that it is. You can sign up for a free Google Ads account and within 90 minutes be beating every single school in your area. So that's Google Ads. Obviously, with that description, I think you can see why that is so important. Because if you aren't naturally ranking for the organic search results, then being able to, I won't say cheat your way to the top, but buy your way to the top is helpful. I would recommend, however, that you do take organic search results seriously as well, because a lot of data shows that some people prefer Google Ad search returns. Some people prefer the organic search returns. People have preferences. So you really want to show up in both. And then there's the third option too, which is Google Maps. And that's having a Google business profile, which I think we're going to do an episode about that in the very near future, Nate. So obviously the problem this solves for school is that it provides the most targeted traffic that you can get. If you were to post in local Facebook groups, or if you were to put flyers up in local businesses, or if you were to have a booth at a camp fair, you are basically hoping that enough people that would be open to using your product would either come by your booth or see your flyer or notice an organic post in a local, Facebook PTA group or local interest group, local opportunities group on Facebook for your geographic area. You're hoping enough people that would be open to using your product would see it, be intrigued enough to come to your website or your Facebook business page or your Instagram profile, and say, oh, you know what? I've always thought about enrolling my two kids in music lessons. Let's check these guys out. And perhaps they do a little research, they send in an information request, and because they randomly saw your booth or they saw a post that you made on Facebook, they become a student. It's great. That's fine. However, if someone's coming to Google search and asking who is a local piano teacher, or where can I find guitar lessons, and your academy is basically at the top of Google Ads, Google search, and Google Maps, there's a very good chance that that person's going to sign up with you because they were already looking for it. So that's kind of the problem that can solve. So that is my quick and dirty 3 to 4 minute overview of Google Ads. Nate, as an established school owner who uses Google Ads and who even hired me to help optimize your Google Ads funnel, is how we met. Any questions about anything I said there? Or was that all just a very nice review? Do you have any follow-up?
No, the only thing I would do is reframe one comment you said, sort of cheat your way to the top. I would just say sponsor our way to the top.
Sponsor,
like while you were talking, I typed in songwriting lessons for kids near me. And I was like, aha, look, right now Brooklyn Music Factory isn't pumping money into our general lessons ads, so we're not sponsored at the top there. But we are spending money on our summer camp ads right now because we plan on selling 250 of those spots by the end of this month that this pod launches in January. And so naturally, to your point, what's showing up? Brooklyn Music Factory is ranking very high on page 1 right now as a sponsored and organic, because we spent a lot of time there. But that's my only reframe, is that if you're a school just starting out, like Daniel said, this is a great way to just start becoming very familiar with what it means to show up on page 1 in a Google search through paying your way to the top or sponsoring yourself. That's it. I think it's great. It's a no-brainer.
I will say that if a school was going to only have one paid digital strategy, it should be Google Ads. No question. Second place isn't even close. So I'll just add that one little thing in on what you said there.
What have we seen change with Google Ads? Like, what are you seeing that's new now that maybe you weren't seeing a year ago, even 6 months ago?
Sure. So that is really why I wanted to do this episode, because I do talk about Google Ads. I make comments over time, but there are some new things that I've noticed. There are changes. And I just want to give maybe an update to some things that I've said before. So first, over the last 2 years, Google has changed the way that campaigns are built and how they function. Couple things. First off, they retired expanded text ads, which they'd had for like 20 years, in favor of responsive search ads. And this has been an overall trend with Google that they're trying to take more control away from people who are running ads, whether it's an agency or a business owner. They're putting more faith in their own algorithm because they're very interested in providing a good experience for their end users. And so to that end, they're giving less control to business owners. And what that means is that you have to work a little bit harder to retain control over your account. And I'm going to explain why that's important in just a second. All that to say that now, as opposed to you writing individual ads, you give them a number of headlines, a number of descriptions, and they choose which ones they run, and they decide over time which ones get run. So that's a change. Another thing, they are really pushing Performance Max and Smart campaigns, going even to the point that they are actually hiding in campaign setups other options. But I don't recommend for the average school that you run Performance Max or you run Smart campaigns. I've literally worked with massive schools who have agencies where the agencies are running Performance Max or Smart campaigns, and the school owner saying like, yeah, we're not getting a lot out of Google Ads. And then I come in and switch them over to the strategy that I run, and all of a sudden their costs go way down and their leads go up. And so I would just recommend that a school owner, if you have an agency, you either go in and look at what they're running for you, or you push them very hard to run search-only campaigns. Or at the very least, if they insist on running Smart or Performance Max campaigns, that you ask them to run a search-only campaign as well and to put most of your budget there.
What's the difference between, say, the traditional Google ad that I'm familiar with versus a Performance Max ad?
Sure.
Just give us a quick,
Got it.
Novice definition, if you don't mind.
Basically, the problem with Performance Max and Smart campaigns are that they mix search and display marketing. And then even Performance Max, I'm not getting all the nitty gritty of it, but even Performance Max adds even more. They basically mix it all into one pot. But for the average local music school, you are going to get way more out of your marketing dollar if you're running search only and putting as much money as possible into search only, to the point that you are getting maximum exposure in search only before you even think of going display. Because a display campaign is like Facebook. It's essentially just putting your ad out there on the internet to everyone and anyone and saying, hey, we're here. Whereas search only is only displaying to people who are actually searching for what you have to offer. That's why I still, to this day, recommend. The problem is that even for someone who's setting up for the first time, they really try to push you into these certain campaign types. And then this is the other thing, this is what I was going to say next. Even in search only, they have now actually hidden the main bid strategy that I recommend people use. They don't even allow you to set it up that way when you're first setting up your campaign. You actually have to go in and dig deep into the settings after your campaign is completely set up and all your ads are written, and switch it. And it's actually, they're making it harder and harder to find. And my fear is that in the next year or two, they're actually not even going to allow people to use that bid strategy anymore. This episode is sponsored by grouplessons.com. If you're looking for a group piano method that is easy to implement in your studio or school, look no farther than Piano Express from grouplessons.com. Because unlike most group piano methods, Piano Express allows students to make individual progress within the context of a larger group. And because of the at-home practice tools and gamified curriculum, students using the Piano Express method make faster progress than the average method book student. And that helps students feel excited, accomplished, and motivated to learn new music. Also, the system is really adaptable. We've got teachers using the system in their home studios, And we have many large commercial studios running our 3-room model that allows you to see up to 24 students per hour with just 2 teachers. So if you'd like to learn more about Piano Express, navigate to grouplessons.com and sign up for a free demo. You'll get to look at the method, our app and teacher guides, and we'll even give you a sneak peek of our implementation plan that has helped hundreds of studios start their group program in just a few weeks. Here's the cash value for the episode for a larger school where the owner is overseeing a marketing team or a marketing agency. Here's the thing. You will get results out of this with a marketing agency. But you have to understand that marketing agencies if they get drawn into like all these custom things that have to be done for every single client, it's going to be difficult for them to be profitable. And so what marketing agencies do is they try to find either a niche and work only with that niche, which is what we've done, or they productize all of their services and basically have a one-size-fits-all approach as whether it's a local manufacturing business, a cupcake shop, or a music school. And they productize their SEO, they productize their Facebook ads, they productize their Google ads, and they essentially have a one-size-fits-all approach to campaign setup for efficiency's sake, because it's not the owner who's doing it. It's some junior level team member who probably doesn't even really understand Google ads all that much or knows it enough to be dangerous with it. And then they're just running typical campaign settings. And those typical campaign settings are not optimized for a music school. And so what I'm talking about here is what's optimized for how a music school actually runs. But most marketing agencies won't play ball with you and do it that way. And if you even begin to suggest, oh, hey, can you run this type of campaign versus this? They'll like give you a friendly little head pat and be like, oh, isn't that cute? Run along now. The big boys are, the adults are in the room and we know what we're doing.
Well, they can, it's just sort of like when you go to get your car fixed and you're not a mechanic and all of a sudden they're using language that you don't really understand. So you just have to sort of have blind faith on it. And so to me, what I hear you saying is like, hey, you're about to give us like 4 or 5 more important tips when managing our Google Ads account. And what I hear you saying is whether you're doing it on your own, in which case you should definitely be taking notes right now, or you're doing it with an agency or someone you're hiring, then you still want to come to them with these notes and be like, hey, can you tell me more about specifically this, why we should not push performance max ads? Because I'm hearing it's not going to serve, my needs as a music school owner. So,
right.
We can't be too informed in these situations. And it's just always valuable to ask those questions of the experts that we hire. And you're giving us really good questions to ask. Okay.
Now, next thing. Next thing. Google added some tools, all right? And this is a little bit of secrets from my marketing training. So I'm just going to dig into this just a little bit. And I will just say, anyone hearing this, that if you want your Google ads to perform better, you seriously need to reach out to me. Daniel@growyourmusicstudio.com. Just do it, okay? But they added some tools that did not exist 10 years ago. And it's provided a fascinating look and changed the way that I've advised all the schools I'm working with, because I have granular data now on just how much they're being seen. It's actually so exciting. They added something called competitive metrics, where you can actually go in and see down to the 100th of 1% how many times your Google ad was seen versus how many times it could have been seen for the entire week or month or year that you've set, the historical data to be displayed for. And what I have found is with most schools, they aren't even getting close to maximum exposure. Not even close. You also can see, of all the times that your ad was displayed, how many times were you even in the top 3 or at the absolute top? So what this allows you to do is to see how your campaign budget and your max bids are impacting how much you're being seen as a school. And this goes back into what I was just saying, because I said, don't use Performance Max, but I did give one caveat. I said, make sure you're splitting your search and your Performance Max campaigns, or your search and display campaigns, and then make sure you're absolutely maxing out how much your search ads are being seen before you even think of running display. Because it isn't bad to run display necessarily. It's just that it's effective. It's just not as effective as search only. So you want, as much as possible, to have absolutely maxed your search only budget before you even think of going to Performance Max or display. But now you can know that because Google added in this analytics package called competitive metrics, which you can put right on your ads. So just understand that it is now possible to get that granular information about the effectiveness of your budget. So I'll just say that. I'll move on here and maybe just wrap up the what's new section here with this. That I'll wrap up how I began. Google is trying to take away more control from owners and agencies by pushing automated bid strategies, by pushing algorithmic-based matching, and they're making it harder for you to kind of get this granular control that is really what I've been teaching for a long, long time, because it does decrease your budget while giving you more leads. And so you kind of have to fight with the platform a little bit. They're hiding some of these things. They're hiding it deeper in the settings, like that sort of thing. And honestly, we just rebuilt our marketing training. When this airs, we will have been rebuilt it 3 months ago. When we're recording this, it was barely 6 weeks ago. We actually just updated our Google Ads training again to account for some of these changes in the platform. So there's that. Yeah. Any questions, nice. Or do you want to jump on to your next question for me, Nate? Because I know you had some questions for me there.
You went over things that have changed and your observations of them. I wonder if you might share, like, do you have a list? Because when we were prepping, you sort of had this list of like, absolutely do not do the following.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to know the not do's versus the do's. And I have given a few not do's already, but let me just kind of list them off here quickly. Don't use automated bid strategies if possible. Don't mix search and display. Don't use smart campaigns. Never, ever, 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 ever talk to a Google rep. Do not let them make changes to your account if you've got to optimize. I literally just went through this with a client where I told them repeatedly, never talk to a Google rep. Talk to a Google rep, they messed up their account. And then do not throw all of your keywords in one campaign or even ad group. If you've got different instruments you're teaching, keep them separate. If you, just keep things nice and clean and separate inside your account. And I think those are my big don't do's.
That's your big 5 do nots. This episode is sponsored by BigMusicGames.com. As our listeners know, Brooklyn Music Factory is all about a fun, fluency-first approach to music lessons. And at the foundation of our teaching methods are rhythm, melody, harmony, and songwriting games that challenge students as young as 4 years old to train their ears and flex that musical mind. Because when you set an intention of gamifying every single lesson, you're going to find improved attendance, increased play at home, and higher student retention. So we've set up a website just for our listeners so you can start playing today. Go to bigmusicgames.com/7FMS and create your free account. Again, that's bigmusicgames.com/7FMS. And if you join today, I'm going to send you a personal invite to join our weekly teacher training call with me and Greggy Bizzle, our chief game designer. Go ahead and put play back into practice with Big Music Games. Let's move on to another topic then that's top of everybody's mind. It's definitely top of mine, which is just AI and how it's actually impacting search engine.
Yeah, okay. This is huge. Wall Street Journal listen to me. The Wall Street Journal published an article in November of last year called Googling is for old people, and that's a problem for Google.
Yes.
I read this with fascination because the younger generation has adopted AI in a very rapid way, where a lot of people under 30 have ChatGPT on their phones now, and they're not going to Google to find things. They're literally going in and having conversations with the AI and asking questions about
Mm.
anything and everything. And I have to be honest with you, I'm doing it too.
Yeah.
I have not avoided Google, but I don't know how OpenAI has done this, but they always every time I have like a complex question, like look, if I want to know, oh, who was that actor in that one movie? I forget. Yeah, I'm going to Google. But
Right.
if I have a complex question, I go to Chat GPT. I have it on my phone now. I just have the app on my phone and I ask the question or I talk into it and ask a more complex question. And somehow, and again, I don't know how OpenAI has done it. It's just always a better response. It always feels like I get my information faster with the
Mm.
AI. And it feels higher quality to me, even though Google has built AI into their search now, and it is supplanting even some of their organic search results.
Yep.
Um, just ChatGPT is just better. And I will even add this: we've never really done an episode on AI. We might need to do that in 2025, Nate. Maybe a
Yeah.
series
Yeah.
of them because it has transformed the way I'm running my business. Um, but OpenAI, a lot of other AI companies were catching up with OpenAI, who invented ChatGPT, which was like this leap forward in AI, general, not a general AI, but conversational AI. And then in late August, they released their O1 model. And in terms of what an outside body was like running a battery of questions against all these AIs and giving them a ranking, and OpenAI, ChatGPT, like jumped way far into the lead again. Like a lot of these other companies have been catching up to them, but with the
Mm.
O1 model, it got better. And I will tell you, I could palpably feel the difference in how much better it was. It's actually exciting.
So,
Okay, here's my point. Here's my point,
yep.
because this episode is not about AI. Is that I think that is why I am going to the AI more than search engines now, which is a problem for something like Google Ads. Because what
Mm.
that means is that OpenAI is actually going to Google and doing complex Google searches for you, but they're not including ad results in their search returns. Basically, they're providing you, and they'll even click for the sources, but they're not including ad results. So what that means is that we will see over time Google Ads probably see their impression counts go down. However, you still want to be the top there. You still do. Now here's the other thing. For a number of my clients, I have gone to Chat GPT and asked, hey, I'm looking for violin lessons in North Jersey. I'm near Newark Airport. Who should I go to? And I checked, and actually the number one that came back was my client. But I asked the AI, did you look at the Google Ads returns, or were you looking at the organic returns? And the AI straight up told me I was looking at organic returns only. Would you like me to look at the ad returns?
Mm.
So it is not naturally looking at the ads. It is looking at organic only, and it was looking at across several different search engines. But my client was at the top, and I've done this for a number of my clients, and they are showing up. So SEO is becoming more important, which is why I call this the state of search engine marketing, not just the state of Google Ads, because AI, all these AIs are becoming a new de facto search engine. So
Mm.
people need to be taking how you're showing up in Google Business, other profiles like your Yelp profiles, because it's looking across all of these to find the best answer for people. And fortunately, a lot of my clients are showing up at the very top or very near the top in a lot of questions that I ask, which I was really enthused to see about. I did this experiment, like, I don't know, a couple months ago. Um,
Daniel, I'm literally doing it right now as you're talking.
I heard
Okay,
you typing.
yeah, I know. Keep going, dude. Because I want to, for our listeners, I want to share a few results because I find this fascinating. Because of course, my follow-up question, I feel like I'm always just. Sometimes I'm a curmudgeon on the pod, but mostly it's like I just want to know what I can put into practice right now for
Yeah.
Brooklyn Music Factory based on, or
Well,
I want our
yeah.
listeners to be like, okay, now that I know this, what's something a specific action I can take in the next month or a year to have an impact on this?
Yeah. Here's how maybe we wrap on this. I don't know. But here's
Hmm.
how a school owner should respond to all the information I'm giving today. Google Ads is still the best paid ads opportunity you have. No doubt. But you will see impression counts go down over time. However, Google is giving us more tools to see just how effective that search marketing is with those competitive metrics that I talked about. That's the first thing. Second, local social media is going to become increasingly important as it has been for the last 5 years. That's the second thing. Third, SEO is out of reach with a lot of schools, just because to do SEO effectively, you're probably not spending less than $10,000 a year on it. And what I will say is that SEO is becoming more and more important now because of AI, because that is what the AI is looking at. They're looking at SEO markers because they're essentially doing a lot of searches for you, and all you had to do was go to them. It's becoming an aggregator. So take Google seriously. Follow the tips I gave earlier. AI is the new search the new search engine, and more people will be going over to that. And local social media is becoming more important, and we have episodes on a lot of these topics in the back catalog, to be honest. And we'll put things in the show notes. Some of these episodes we've done in the past about Google Ads, about local search, about Google Business, that sort of thing. So we'll just throw those in. That can be a good resource for folks. But thanks for listening, everyone. Happy New Year. I know it's a little late to be saying that, but we'll see you in the next episode.